Hello, this is Lucas. Welcome to another CSS video. In this video, we'll go over how we can edit text by changing the text font, for example, the size of our text. We can style the text, and then we'll go over how we can change the color of our text. So let's say that we have ourselves a paragraph, and we can say this is our text, for example. Now, by default, we have this font right here, but let's say that we want to change the font. So the way that we'll do that is, firstly we'll target this HTML element, so we can just target like this, and what we use is we will use font family. And let's say that we want to change this to, I don't know, something like Arial, right? Now if you go back, you can see that this is going to update now to Arial. So we have changed the font to Arial. We can change it to other fonts as well. If the font is one word, we can just keep it like this, but if it's more than one word, we need to use these quotes, the double quotes. And that's how I want to change it to something like Times New Roman. And now we go back, you can see now this is changed to Times New Roman. So if our font is just one word, we don't need to use the double quotes, but if it's multiple words, we need to use double quotes. Now, the way the font family works is, our browser will try to use this font that we specify here. If that font isn't available to the browser that we're using, what we can do is we can specify more fonts. So let's say this font is not available in the browser. If it's not available, then our browser will pick the next font that we insert. So let's say we put in Arial. So then if this is not available, then our browser will display this text here as Arial, and so on. If Times New Roman and Arial are not available, then it will try to display the next one. Let's say the next one is, we'll go with serif, right? So if these two are not available in our browser for whatever reason, it will then display the third one, and so on. We can specify as many as we want. So that's about it for how we can change the fonts. Now to change the size of our text, what we'll use is we will use font size. And the way that there's a couple of ways that we can change the size. So the very first way is we can use pixels. And let's say I just want to change it to 30 pixels, so we'll just put in a number 30, and then we'll just put in px for pixel. And if we go back to our page, you can see that our text does increase. We can change this again. Let's say we change this to 60, so we just double it to whatever it is now, just so we can see a big change. And here you can see it is now 60. Now the other way that we can use this is we can use M, and the way the M works is, so let's say I want to change it to, let's say we change it to 2.5 M, right? M or rem. And then we go back to our page, and you can see that it changes. So the way the rem works is, basically it works, I'll just do a little comment so it'll be easier for everyone to know. The way that rem works is, let's say you want your font size to be, for example, 40 pixels, the example that we're using now. So 2.5 rem is the exact same as 40 pixels. Okay, the way that this gets converted is, it's 40 pixels, and then we just have to divide it by 16, and then the output is 2.5. Okay, so that's just the way it works. It's whatever pixel we want, we divide that by 16, and then it equals to whatever rem it is. So that's the way that rem works. We can use rem or pixel. It's a bit better to use rem, but it's completely up to you. But that's about it for the size, really. The next thing that I'll go over is the styling. So we can style our text in a couple of ways. So this is what it is by default at the moment. I'll just refresh it. So this is just the default. So the first way that we can change it is we can set it to normal. So this doesn't actually do anything if it's normal already, if it's by default. So we can set to normal, You can save that. We'll refresh this, and you can see nothing changes because by default our text is normal already. But we can change normal. We can change it to like italic, for example. So now whenever we load up the page, you can see now our text is in italic format. We can also change it to oblique, like that, oblique. Go back to our page, and yeah, it is in oblique as well now. Well, we can also change the weight of our font. So let's say we just remove this. We don't need this, but let's just say we want to change it to bold, for example. What we can do is, instead of doing font style, we'll do font weight, and then we have a few options to pick from. But let's just say we pick bold, and as you may guess, it will change our text to bold. And then I guess the very last thing that we can go over with styling is we can change the variant of it. So let's say we do font variant, and then we can do something like, let's say we do small caps, then we go back to our text, we refresh this, and the way it works is all of our text will be in capital except whatever we put as the capital. So if you can see in our browser, our entire text is in capital letters, but the way that the font variant works is the capital letters that we have placed in our paragraph element will be a bit bigger than the other small letters in that paragraph. So you can see that the T is the capital, so you can see it's a bit bigger than any other letter, and the T here for text is a bit bigger than any other letter here. So that's the way that the font variant works. I guess the very last thing that we can go over is the color. How we can change the color of our text. Now I did go over this in the last video. I just used an example, but I will go over it, just explain it. So we can change the color very easily. Now you might be thinking we can use something like font color, but no, that's not it. Some people use text color, but that's also not it. All we have to do is use color, and yes, we have to spell it like this. So this is the way the Americans spell it, but if you live in the UK or Ireland or any other place, we'll spell it like this. This is not the correct way to do it, right? We'll just do it like this, color, and then we can just specify any color that we want to do. So let's say we want to do the color red. We want to change our color to color red. So now we put in red. We refresh this, and now you can see that our color has changed to red. Say we want to change it to blue. Let's say blue violet. That seems like a nice color, kind of purple, or violet, or it's blue violet. That's actual color, but it looks like purple. And you can see the text is now changed to blue violet. So that's about it on how to mess around with the text. Now with colors, I did go over a little bit with colors, but in the next video I'll go a bit more in depth into colors. There's a few different ways that we can specify what color we want, and you can see that whenever I highlight over this, we have the RGB, and then there's hex as well. So in the next video I'll go over how we can change the color in a couple of different ways. But until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.